Before we get started with your feedback regarding alleged leaks for possible locations in Grand Theft Auto 6, I just want to let you all know that you can find me on various other social media platforms besides YouTube. I am also on YouTube, obviously, including my vlogs channel where I post a new vlog every 2 or 3 weeks. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, as well as our awesome Discord community, and my newest social media site that I'm venturing over on, Minds.com. It's basically a decentralized version of Twitter, Facebook. The difference is, unlike Twitter and Facebook, Minds.com is more free speech, and that's something that means a great deal to me. It doesn't matter if you agree with me or disagree with me, or if I agree with you or disagree with you. I believe that we all have a right to speak, to have our voices heard, even if one group disagrees with the other. As long as you're civil, I'll never have a problem with anybody at all, even if you disagree with me, because I don't claim to always be right. But if you have a Minds account, you're welcome to subscribe to me over on Minds. And you can also follow me on the various other ones like Twitter, Facebook, Discord, Instagram. Sometimes I post images over there. Nothing too risque, just like food, pets, and other nonsense. All right, so anyways, off to your feedback regarding Grand Theft Auto Online locations leak. And I don't always do videos like this, but on occasion, whenever we have a lot of people in the comment section of a video giving their thoughts, views, and opinions about something, whether they're disagreeing or agreeing or coming up with their own ideas of what they'd like to see, I do enjoy sitting back and reading what you have to say. And yes, I do read every single comment. So let's start things off with Archangel. I do believe, but then again, I don't believe, which means I hope it's true. You're on the fence, Archangel. That's what that's called. Kyle, see, I want to, but it's most likely just rumors. My very good friend, Azalyn, she is also a streamer. You can find her on various social medias as well. YouTube, DLive. She's awesome. Very good friend of mine. I don't believe much of what I hear on the internet, but it's certainly possible. You all are on the freaking fence. It's like, I want to believe, but I don't know. But I don't believe. Damn, freaking fence sitters. Anyways, let's move on. See, Archangel had a few comments. I'm sure some of you will as well, but I'll read your comments. Modern day Vice City for Grand Theft Auto 6 would be awesome, then he said. I do think the Grand Theft Auto 6 is definitely going to be the next-gen console because of memory and graphics. I imagine will be much better, so I'm thinking Grand Theft Auto 6, his release date prediction is 2023. And if you have a prediction, release year, for Grand Theft Auto 6, feel free and leave it below in the comment section. All right, so King Easy, I did not skip over you intentionally. Vice City would be great. Maybe a return to the 80s, probably not. So like I said with my rambling thoughts in this leaks video that I did, I think that Vice City will probably be one of the main cities in Grand Theft Auto 6. At least I hope it is. If there's no other location in Grand Theft Auto 6, the one location that should be there is Vice City, because so many of us love Vice City and we want to go back to Vice City. I think it's going to be a modern day Vice City, but since we have this nostalgia culture we're living in, where we're so obsessed with things from the 80s and 90s, it would make sense to be part of the typical Grand Theft Auto satire, where Vice City would be all about making fun of our nostalgia. So I could see it still being kind of like a city lost in the 80s, but at the same time living in the early 2020s, behind the times by like what, 30, 40 years. All right, so let's move on to Genesis. I'm sure even a division of Rockstar is working on Grand Theft Auto 6. Why its content has been so dry on both Grand Theft Auto Online and Red Dead Online. There was Grand Theft Auto 4 being remastered rumor a few years ago with Liberty City screenshots on the Rage engine with updated graphics, which is what I was referring to in this video a few days ago. And now it seems like that maybe Rockstar wasn't working on remaster of Grand Theft Auto 4. I mean, they could still eventually come out with that, even though the 10-year anniversary has come and gone. I feel like they kind of missed that window unless they decide to do it during the 15th anniversary. But instead of putting it on the current Rage engine, the up-to-date Rage engine, what if Rockstar had done this because they are in fact going to have Liberty City as one of the locations for Grand Theft Auto 6. I certainly hope it's not the only location, because as much as I like Liberty City, I have to pick. I want to go back to Vice City, okay? Because, you know, we've been back to Liberty City in Grand Theft Auto 4. I know that's been over 10 years since Grand Theft Auto 4, but I would rather go to Vice City. But why not both, right? All right, so let's move on to Terrence Smith. I would love to see the old with the new modern 90s remastered Vice City and a remastered Liberty City from Grand Theft Auto 6. So it's going to be interesting to see the time setting for Grand Theft Auto 6. I think that they're going to continue to keep it a modern setting, so it'll probably be set in 2020 or 2021 or somewhere along that lines. I don't think that they're going to do any more prequels like they did with Vice City and San Andreas, because basically Vice City and San Andreas were prequels to Grand Theft Auto 3. And of course, Liberty City Stories was also a prequel to Grand Theft Auto 3. Vice City's was also a prequel to Vice City. Lots of prequels. So I think Rockstar's not going to do that anymore with Grand Theft Auto. But then again, it could happen. Let's see. Wolf, Liberty City, Los Santos, and Vice City in one game would be the best thing. I agree entirely, Wolf, because you definitely have Grand Theft Auto fans that are lovers of one city over the other. There are going to be those that are hardcore Los Santos fans, those that love Liberty City, as well as those that love Vice City. And with the next-gen consoles, the PlayStation 5, and whatever the next Xbox game console is going to be called, it would make sense for the next step for Grand Theft Auto would be multiple locations, which is actually technically a step back, because the original top-down Grand Theft Auto actually was several cities. You started in Liberty City, and then you ended up going to other locations. So, in a way, it's kind of paying homage to the original Grand Theft Auto. Let's see, Thousandaires Club. The Thousandaires Club. I like that name. I just want a properly done with detailed Las Venturas game with full-scale rendition of Nevada, gangs, the mob, casinos, hitmen, buying safe houses, and assembling your own crew, turf wars, drug wars, girlfriends or boyfriends, whichever way you want to swing, and crushing cars for cash. I miss crushing cars for cash. That was awesome back in the day. I am still somewhat disappointed that no matter how awesome Grand Theft Auto 5's map is, I was always hoping that we would also get San Fierro and Las Venturas, but alas, we did not. Which is why I and many others refer to the Grand Theft Auto 5 Southern San Andreas map as Southern San Andreas. I don't think it's the complete state of San Andreas. Could be wrong, but maybe one day we'll see a return of Las Venturas and San Fierro somewhere down the road. Nick Jones, Grand Theft Auto 6, more news and information and wish list, please. Whenever more information comes out about Grand Theft Auto 6, I will definitely make videos about it. I'm a huge Grand Theft Auto fan. Been one since back in the day when I was a kid on the original PlayStation with the top-down Grand Theft Auto, and I've played almost every single GTA since, except for Vice City Stories. I never got to play Vice City Stories, but yes, I'm definitely going to continue covering Grand Theft Auto 6, and I do have a Grand Theft Auto 6 playlist if you guys want to go check it out. All right, so next, let's go to Chris Younggun. All I ever wanted was an HD version of the entire state of San Andreas. Once again, good point, Chris. That's something I think a lot of us were kind of sort of hoping for with Grand Theft Auto 5 whenever it was mentioned that Los Santos and San Andreas were going to be featured in Grand Theft Auto 6. We were thinking about Las Venturas as well as San Fierro, but alas, well, that did not happen. Reverend Dickey, I wish they would set it in Houston, Texas, fourth largest city in the U.S., and they could have you smuggling to and from Mexico, across the border, Red Dead Redemption 1 style. Okay, so I'm a fellow Texan. I'm also Louisianan, child of two states, and no surprise, I would love a future Grand Theft Auto game featuring Texas. Now, I think on one of the fake websites in Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online, it actually does mention Texas. So I wonder if they'd actually use the real name of Texas or they would just come up with a fictional name. Because Texas is huge. It is gigantic, in case some of you didn't realize it. And there's a lot of big cities, including Houston, as well as the Dallas-Fort Worth area, San Antonio, and even the capital of Texas, where my sisters happen to live, Austin. I'm eventually planning on moving down to Central Texas and Hill Country. It's big as well. Well, it's growing. And there's a lot of different locations in Texas, from the beaches on the Gulf Coast to the pine trees and lakes and rivers of East Texas to more like mountain regions in North Texas, as well as deserty to West Texas, plateau and Southwest Texas, as I mentioned, hill country in Central Texas. So there's a lot of different terrains that Texas has to offer, and I think it would be a fantastic future location for an open world game. And I think that if there is a developer out there that would do Texas justice, it would be Rockstar. So maybe one day we'll see a Grand Theft Auto game set in the Lone Star State. Adam Bennett! Adam, how have you been? One of my oldest subscribers. Based on Grand Theft Auto 5 trailer coming out around 2 years before the game, I doubt they would suddenly drop it in 2020. That's my opinion anyways. I do hope it comes out soon, as I'm bored of Grand Theft Auto 5 after nearly 6 years. And I think that's an issue that a lot of us have with Grand Theft Auto Online and Grand Theft Auto 5. Unfortunately, there was never a story DLC, even though that was obviously planned by Rockstar. It got scrapped, and I think a lot of the elements of the story DLC were recycled, repurposed for DLC for Grand Theft Auto Online. I think a lot of us are ready for a new location, even though, yes, the map of Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online is awesome. It's beautiful. But after going on over 5 years now for a lot of us, it's gotten a little tiresome. I mean, yes, it's good to have updates that come with new content, new vehicles and whatnot, but a lot of us just want a new location. If that's on the top of a lot of people's lists when it comes to what we would like to see in Grand Theft Auto Online, eventually somewhere else to go. Like San Fierro, Las Venturas, even North Yankton would be great. But why not Liberty City or Vice City? So yeah, I do believe, just like I said in the video a few days ago, I think that Rockstar has been secretly working on Grand Theft Auto 6, and I think it's very possible that it could be out much sooner than we even could imagine. At least I hope. But like some of you have pointed out already, just because they make an announcement, that doesn't mean it's going to come out next year. Even if there is a teaser trailer for it later on in the summer or fall, it could still get delayed, just like previous Rockstar games. Next, we go to Noose Ryan Gaming, another one of my subscribers I haven't seen in a while. Hope you're doing well. I can only see Vice City being the most likely city for the next Grand Theft Auto to be based. We've had Liberty City not only with Grand Theft Auto 4, but with EFLC and Chinatown Wars. I'm assuming that's what CW stands for, not the TV network. But EFLC, do you mean Liberty City Stories? Is that what you're referring to? I don't know. See, I can't see Rockstar adding multiple cities like they did with San Andreas. And Tank Dog Zignation, or I don't know how to pronounce your name. Let's just say Tank Dog. Tank Dog disagrees, and I'm going to have to disagree with you as well. If Red Dead Redemption 2 is the indicator, it looks like it's pretty clear that they will add a second or third location for more mission structure and situations. Rockstar set Red Dead Redemption 2 in different terrains and states across the fictional western United States. They had deserts, high trees, snowy, swampy, and all their own environments with their set animals and NPC variations. And as I kept meaning to look for that article where there was an interview years ago, and it was asked by one of the Housers or somebody in the upper echelons of Rockstar about their future plans for Grand Theft Auto, and they did allude to some sort of like world building to Grand Theft Auto, where they wanted to get to the point where they featured more than just one city, where it would be a game where you could like travel like via plane or jet or whatever from this map to that map, from, as I mentioned, from Los Santos to Liberty City to Vice City, and maybe eventually San Fierro and Las Venturas. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that this may be one of Rockstar's goals for Grand Theft Auto 6, because they're always trying to push, the boundaries. They're always trying to one-up themselves. And, I mean, what other way to one-up themselves with Grand Theft Auto 6 than to top San Andreas, which a lot of people consider to be the best Grand Theft Auto game, because it had 3 locations. Overall, the map wasn't as big as it seemed, but it was, for its day, a pretty large map. But they did a brilliant job with making it seem large with 3 cities as opposed to just 1. So I do see that happening very possibly with Grand Theft Auto 6. If not Grand Theft Auto 6, maybe Grand Theft Auto 7. Next, let us move on to I Am John Porter 79. I am not believing anything until Rockstar Games says something about Grand Theft Auto 6. People speculate all they want with these leaks. I agree, John. It's fun to speculate, it's fun to theorize, but at the end of the day, as I mentioned already, you have to take any of these leaks, whether they're true or not, with a grain of pixel because they may not be true. And the best thing to do is not give our hopes up. So that's what I always say, but at the same time, our imaginations can get the better of us. Eldavo, one of our awesome members, really cool vid. Thanks, Eldavo. Can't wait for Grand Theft Auto 6. I think a lot of us can't wait for Grand Theft Auto 6. Let's see. Tigger, let's see. Hopefully it'll be much more realistic than Grand Theft Auto 5, similar to Red Dead Redemption 2 and Grand Theft Auto 4. Well, I think graphically it should at the very least be on par with Red Dead Redemption 2, because that's another thing that Rockstar continues to do. They continue to improve upon themselves graphically, and the Rage engine, the Euphoria. So yeah, I think that when you put Grand Theft Auto 6 side by side with Grand Theft Auto 5, you're going to kind of sort of notice a difference. Yes, you are. Let's see. 1930, Shapey Feet. Let's see. Hope I pronounced your name correctly. If so, I hope we see Jerry Capaltz as a homeless man at the end of the Ballad of Gay Tony, who finds diamonds that are in 4. Lost in the Dam, Ballad of Gay Tony. At the end of the game, the radio says he moves to Vice City to open a gun shop and liquor store. So I think that Rockstar has gotten to the point now where the characters they've created in previous Grand Theft Autos, they're not afraid of porting them over to future installments. We saw that with Laszlo. He's been in numerous games, even though there's obviously a real-life person, Laszlo, who is one of the writers. He's also in charge of the radio stations, but he also plays, his own Grand Theft Auto persona throughout the franchise. So yeah, I could see him. I could also see other characters from Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 5 making appearances and possibly even cameos in Grand Theft Auto 6. Let's see. Arslan Beck. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Liberty City is absolutely epic. I agree. And Grand Theft Auto 6 will be even more epic if it not only includes Vice City, but also Liberty City, because you'll make a lot of people happy, because like I mentioned earlier, there's different camps. There's people that really want the next game to be back in Liberty City. There's a lot of us that would love for it to go somewhere else, like Vice City, because it's been a while. There's some that are quite happy staying in Los Santos, or at the very least want more San Andreas, like Las Venturas or San Fierro. Dr. Anarchy, how would Hydra's, T20s, and Tornos, Retro Customs, etc., them cars probably won't exist in Grand Theft Auto Online 2. How would that work in Grand Theft Auto Online 2? Rockstar ain't going to allow anyone to transfer their accounts to people with hundreds of millions of billions of dollars. People have ranked 508,000, so people can transfer their accounts and have everything unlocked day one in Grand Theft Auto Online 2. That's like saying we can transfer our accounts from Black Ops 4 to Black Ops 5. I mean, they're the same game, right? I got $500+ million, ranked 529 in Grand Theft Auto Online right now, and I want to start fresh. Well, there's definitely some people that want to start fresh, and I understand their point of view, but there's a lot of us that have invested a lot of time, money, years into our characters, into the empires we've built in Grand Theft Auto Online, and so we hope that at the very least we'll be able to transfer something over from Grand Theft Auto Online to Grand Theft Auto Online 2.0. Say at the very least you can transfer your character's rank, and maybe there's like a cap. Maybe you can transfer over at least $25 million. So if you have way more than $25 million, sorry. But at the same time, a lot of us just don't want to start over again, because it's sometimes going to be a pain in the ass to start over again. But I do have a feeling, I mean, I could be completely wrong about this one. I feel like Grand Theft Auto Online is its separate game. And I think with Grand Theft Auto 6, there's going to be awesome story mode, but at the same time, they will use Grand Theft Auto 6 as a means of continuing to breathe new life into Grand Theft Auto Online, thus giving it brand new locations. Unless that's what I hope ends up happening. But there's a very real possibility that you could be right, Dr. Anarchy. Noah! Hey, Noah, how's it going? At this rate, I think Grand Theft Auto 6 will come in 2022. So that's Noah's prediction, 2022 at the earliest, which could be very possible. I mean, a lot of us would like it to come out in 2020, as long as it's not crap. See, Dr. Anarchy agrees with you, Noah. He says it will be announced in 2020, release date 2021, delayed to 2020. Yeah, that's pretty much what they do, right? Just like just what my phone call says. Yeah, well, it is soon after Red Dead Redemption 2, but you have to bear in mind that Rockstar Games, as most of you know, is a pretty big development house, one of the biggest ones in the world. I'm sure Epic's now giving it a run for its money, but they have big ones. They have small development houses under their umbrella, and they have several IPs, and I know it's probably been an issue that they've had for the longest time. I think if Rockstar could get their machine running as smoothly as possible, having them roll out a different IP every few years is not out of the realm of possibility. They were doing it pretty good back in the 2000s during the 3D age, but nowadays it seems to take them a lot longer time to get a new game out. But I'm sure that a lot of people at Rockstar would love very much every 2 years or 2 or 3 years to put out a brand new game. So it would make sense for 2020 to be at earliest the release date for Grand Theft Auto 6, and that would have been 2 years after Red Dead Redemption 2 came out. And they're still going to continue to add content to Red Dead Online, and eventually we'll probably see a PC version of Red Dead Redemption 2, and possibly even the means to get Red Dead Redemption 2 backwards compatible on the next-gen consoles, or they'll just give us a remastered version of Red Dead Redemption 2 for Xbox Next and the PlayStation 5, or whatever they're going to call the Xbox. Kyle. Hello, Kyle. Let's see. I'd be down with all 3 cities in one game. Keep it one protagonist, though. Better narrative and character development that way, although I'm torn whether it should be another modern-day GTA period piece like Vice City or San Andreas. I'd love Grand Theft Auto set in the 70s. We've had one, in the first DLC, technically, to Grand Theft Auto franchise. The 1960s London DLCs, 80s Miami, 90s Los Santos, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Las Venturas, which was Las Vegas, obviously, and early 2000s New York. So 1970s Chicago or Vegas would be awesome. Once again, technically, Kyle, Vegas was already featured in the 90s from Las Venturas. But I think a lot of people would not be against the idea of a period piece Grand Theft Auto game set in the 1970s. That era they haven't really tackled, but they have done some of the others to varying degrees. And I will agree with you about the protagonist. I feel like that the 3-person protagonist in Grand Theft Auto 5 was lightning in the bottle. I don't think it can be repeated. I could be wrong about that because I liked all 3 characters. I liked Franklin, I liked Michael, I liked Trevor. Now, some people like one of those over the other or 2 over the other, but at the same time, I felt like there was a pretty decent balance and chemistry between the 3 protagonists. But at the same time, I don't think that it will work again. I could be wrong about that, but I think the majority of us would prefer either A, the option of 1 protagonist, or the ability to pick between maybe 2 different protagonists for some replayability. So let's just say, for example, in Grand Theft Auto 6, you get to pick between 2 different characters. Like one's a male character, one's a female character, but they're both completely different. Maybe they interact with each other throughout the story, but they each have their own different point of view. But from start to finish, you play as character A or character B. I don't have a problem with that because after you beat the game with character A, then you can just go back and play the game from the other character's point of view. And that's kind of what I was hoping that Grand Theft Auto 5 was going to be like with the 3 protagonists, but it wasn't exactly like that. So I would prefer them just have 1 awesome story, 1 protagonist, and I guess 3 different locations. I think that will work for us. 3 locations over 3 protagonists. Sedan, hello Sedan. I like this idea, but I don't know how likely it is that we'll see 2 cities. Now, to be fair, if they did this, especially set in the 70s or 80s, I'd be totally floored for being able to enjoy both Vice City and the Liberty Cities. I'd rather than focus on explain Vice City or Las Venturas, but hey, this is awesome. The only part I don't like is the whole next-gen bit, mostly because then I'd have to get a new console, but hey, Grand Theft Auto is probably worth it. Yeah, I mean, that's just a sad reality that even though the PlayStation 4, Xbox One are at the moment still really good, especially the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One X, eventually, just like with previous consoles, there are limitations that are going to be hit. And I feel like with what Rockstar is most likely working on with Grand Theft Auto 6, I don't think that it's going to work on current gen. It's kind of weird calling this current gen and already talking about next gen as in PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox console, but I think that unfortunately that's just going to be a reality we're going to have to accept in a year or 2 from now. So I do feel like that Grand Theft Auto 6 will most likely be coming to next gen. So it's not going to be like Grand Theft Auto 5 was, where it started on last gen, 360, PlayStation 3. Then a year later, they gave us current gen versions, then PC. So I think that's probably how it's going to go down. Mike, 100% legit. Well, I don't know if it's 100% legit. It's quite possible because some leaks do turn out to be true, but at the same time, with all things, unless it's confirmed by Rockstar, then just take it with a grain of salt. Or Pixel, whichever you prefer. See, Nick, let's see, other games coming to PlayStation 5, yes or no? Release dates of this game in the future. Days like Mafia 4, Watch Dogs 3 coming to PlayStation 5, Saints Row 5, Sleeping Dogs 2, or maybe just Cause 5. Most of those have not been confirmed. And I do know a thing or two about the Mafia franchise. No Mafia 4 yet. I don't even know if Hangar 13 is working on Mafia 4 right now. I think they're working on a different IP, but I too hope for the day that we get to go back to Mafia. Watch Dogs 3, I hear rumors that Ubisoft is working on Watch Dogs 3, so that's a possibility. Saints Row 5, news came out, yesterday, that there's actually going to be a movie version of Saints Row. History of video game movies, not so good. Just look at the recent Sonic trailer. So hopefully the Saints Row movie will be awesome and actually stay with the source material. Maybe we'll see Johnny Gatton there. That would be freaking awesome. Sleeping Dogs 2, Just Cause 5. Well, we just got Just Cause 4, so we're probably a ways off from Just Cause 5. See, Dr. Anarchy, I don't believe anything unless it's coming from Rockstar. I agree entirely. Jelly Bryce, see, 5 stories sucked, and the shark cards will be even worse. I disagree about the story to Grand Theft Auto 5. I liked the story. Now, some people are going to say they like the story to Grand Theft Auto 4 better, or San Andreas, or Vice City better, but I like them all. But I think the best story is probably either Red Dead Redemption 1's story or Red Dead Redemption 2's story, when you go from like a story point of view in Rockstar games. So I would put those above the Grand Theft Auto stories. But the Grand Theft Auto stories, for the most part, have been decent. And who knows what the story to Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be. Like I speculated, a few days ago in previous videos, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility if Grand Theft Auto 6, if set in Vice City, maybe, just maybe, we see the return of Tommy Vercetti, voiced by Ray Liotta once again. Maybe he's the boss, right? And this would be a perfect one to introduce a female protagonist to Grand Theft Auto. Have it be his daughter. His daughter's a smartass, also a badass, not a Mary Sue. She has some flaws, not perfect, but I wouldn't mind, especially if they brought back Tommy Vercetti for Grand Theft Auto 6. Anyway, so that's your feedback regarding the Grand Theft Auto 4 location leaks until it's officially confirmed by Rockstar. It's just fun to speculate about, but it would not surprise me if we end up getting more than one location in Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, is it going to be Liberty City? Is it also going to be Vice City, along with us still being able to go to Southern San Andreas, Los Santos, Blaine County, as mentioned in that Newsweek video? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. What is your views and thoughts regarding Grand Theft Auto 6? Where would you like it to go? What year do you think it's possibly going to come out? Feel free and chime in below in the comments section.